Howdy folks, bit of a stranger video today. Not a stranger video, a very logical video, but something that I need to present in a strange way. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of what I think are my favorite third party STL producers for people who want variety amongst their warbands or want to do, I don't know, a second or third or fourth version of what you have and just want it to look differently. Whatever reason you're looking for STLs, these are some of my favorite guys. Now I'm very specifically leaving some um creators or projects or things out of this video that have caught my eye because I simply don't have enough information on them and they're part of a much bigger project, and I'm in communication with those creators as it is about covering their stuff and doing like cool videos and stuff on them. So if you think there's something that I'm missing, I might not be, but feel free to mention it in the comment section anyway and to highlight your favorite creators. And then secondly, I don't know the vast majority of these people. I think I've spoken to like one person on this particular list. It's not an endorsement of anybody. I have no idea who anybody is or what anybody's like. They could be a bunch of fucking puppy kickers for all I know. I have no fucking clue. So let's just get stuck in and look at the STLs. And up first is my man, Mr. Jar. Now, I'm going to guess quite a few people, if you hang around the Discord or the Facebook group, that you know who Mr. Jar is. But if you're, I've noticed a lot of people basically, this channel is their Trench Crusade community. You might not know who Mr. Jar is. Mr. Jar has been making Trench Crusade STLs really for since the early days, basically, of the project. I think his initial kind of breakout piece was a bunker sculpt that a lot of people started using as their terrain and things of that nature. Everybody will know the guy, this guy, and he made it from the artwork. So I think, if I'm correct, that was the one that took off. I played with Mr. Jar a little bit in the Forever Winter. Just so I don't just so people know, this is the one person I've spoken to, and we chat quite a bit on Discord, and I really like his stuff. He's got a really great variety of things in here, whether you want little candles or crosses or big crosses or bunkers or my very first warband was actually made up of his New Antioch folks. He's got a little bit of everything, and he's always open to conversation with people and talking about what it is that they've done. Even like, these statues and everything is so good. And of course the YOLO man, the infamous New Antioch YOLO man. So yeah, just really good stuff all around, and he started getting stuck into some sculpts for the Iron Ultimate, including a really dope alchemist kit for anybody looking for an alternative to their alchemist stuff. And yeah, great guy all around. Love his sculpts. Probably I would say, no offense to anyone who's about to come after, but probably my favorite sculptor doing this kind of work, because there's something different about the stuff that he does, right? He's not looking to just replicate the official stuff, and there's like one or two people on here maybe who do that, and I have them on for a very specific reason. But he's really trying to offer people something very different to the official sculpts and to have some fun with it. So yeah, just good stuff all around. Okay, up next, JK Remo. JK is one of the people who sculpted some of the official sculpts, and I really, really like this collection that he put out. And you can find it here on his My Mini Factory. Now, he sold this on Kickstarter for nothing. I was actually kind of laughing during the Kickstarter because he set up a cheaper tier and messaged us all and told us, switch to this tier, it'll cost you less. And I wanted to pay him more, but I couldn't. because I think he sold his stuff too cheap. Frankly, it's really good. They're really beautiful sculpts. They're so like I've printed all of these out, and they're really nice, and they're very beautiful sculpts. The detail on them, like I love this guy. I think this is like my favorite sculpt in the whole thing. There's just something super badass about standing there in your armor with your big cross, and you're just gonna womp the shit out of people. So yeah, really beautiful stuff for people who are looking for something additional for your new Antioch, something with a little bit of character or difference from the main. And don't use the guy on stilts, I would argue, because you're going to leave yourself open to a lot of line of sightery. But I just think it's fantastic that these little stilts have little duck feet and stuff. Yeah, just absolutely wonderful sculpts. And I'm really excited to hopefully see more from him in this universe. That would be super dope. Okay, up next, Count Zaz Miniatures Depot. Anyone who frequents the Facebook a lot, I think, will know this chap, and very nice stuff, kind of in the Mr. Jar vein of some really interesting addendums to things, and is filling in little gaps that you might not even kind of realize are there until you realize they're there. Like the Eldritch Archon sculpt, shall we say, which is the Goethic Warlock essentially. There's no model for the Goethic Warlock right now. People want to run a Goethic Warlock in their campaigns, and they can use this sculpt. Like, it's smart. It's offering something to the community that we definitely need. I love these field shrines a lot. I'm actually going to be printing out a lot of these for a project that I have on the build. Right now, I'm loving these alternate heads to things, and the kind of Bomb Witch set is really dope. So yeah, just another person who's filling in. And this is what I like most of all. And this might sound a little strange, but just bases. Anybody out there who wants to design bases, I really like making my own bases, but I also really like making my own bases in conjunction with bases that other people have already made. Like, I like to build atop what other people have done, or sometimes I just like to put an entire warband on stuff like this because I want the variety. I don't want kind of every warband I've got on the same base and things like that. Just little stuff like this that makes my life easier. And I really like the overall quality of the sculpts, and there's stuff outside of Trench Crusade that he does a lot of as well. If you wanna take a peek, but obviously we're here for the Trench Crusade stuff. So yes, this is another great kind of third party person. Now, Complicated art. Complicated is very interesting because doing some really unique stuff that I don't think anybody else might have thought about, like the aviarist who has a lot of birds. This model's kind of cool. And I did see that there was some rules for this posted to the Facebook group as well. I can't remember who did the rules. I can't remember if it was Complicated themselves who did it. But just these kind of sculpts, right, add real interesting character and makes a lot of sense because I love the idea of, communicating via homing pigeons and things of that nature during the war is just kind of super cool. And then the mole tunnelers, once again, really kind of, I think, very interesting, unique sculpts that I don't think many other people in the scene will be coming up with. So I'm really going to be keeping an eye on Complicated's stuff going forward. Alrighty, Diceverse. Lots of terrain here that I quite like, and that I'll be using in my own terrain builds to add a lot of variety and interest to things. Of course, the net by now, I think, very famous cross. There's a few of these coming up. Another variant of that very interesting bunker. Just lots of fun stuff. And for people who really like the OG Heretic Priest design, there's a version of that they've done. which is free to download as well, which is super cool. So yes, Diceverse, somebody interesting that you should check out, can probably help you out with some of your projects if you're doing a terrain build. Lost Heresy miniatures have one of my favorite variant artillery witches. I think this sculpt is just really something else. It changes the dynamic, I think, of the overall model when everybody else is bringing the bombs down and this sculpt is just yeeting them. Yeah, I really like it. So some really nice stuff here from Lost Heresy Miniatures. A good chorister, a really dope Lord of Tumors that I really like, once again because of how different it is from what is out there in the official sculpts. So yes, Lost Heresy Miniatures, another great one to check out. All right, Keep Design. Keep Design is really interesting because once again it's lots of different bits of things and terrain, bases, the old big cross is in here. The memory wall, which I really like and I think is very, very dope, and tons of crosses and tons of trenches and shrines and anything you could conceivably want to add visual interest and character to a terrain build is here. And they're very nicely designed. They look quite slick. They print quite nicely. So yeah, what more could you possibly want? I'm throwing in Ether Studios just for this stuff that might interest people, because they do a selection of, what would you call them, tiles, like printable trench tiles that you can print out, and it'll take a decent bit of filament to do these types of things. But there's, I guess, a good example. It'll take a decent amount of filament to do them overall, but they can lead to a very interesting board, I think, if that's kind of how you want to play it and that's how you want to do it. You don't want to be spending a lot of time cutting foam. Maybe you don't give a shit about the cost of filament, whatever it might be. This can be there. Maybe you want to combo it. Maybe you want to print out all the shapes and then do your sanding and stuff on top of that. I have no idea what people do. People out there do weird stuff. I'm just trying to help everybody out here. So Aether Studios will have that covered for you if you're looking for that. Alrighty, Troglodyte miniatures have these really cool Trench Crusaders models, and they've been out for a minute now. From what I can recall, they're not aimed at Trench Crusade. Let's get that out of the way first. I'm pretty sure they were kind of a 40k thing originally. But I think they look dope, and I think they would make a basis of some good heretic kit bashing, because they're kind of like worn out and stuff. And I love the beaky gas masks. They just look like plague doctors and whatnot. And I think that would play into some kind of, naughty group of heretic scum. Basically would do exactly that, just to put the shits up whoever they're fighting. So that would be quite interesting and fun. Now we're getting into people who are really just kind of providing very specific things or one thing for the next run. So this is a bunch of free miniatures that you might like if you have, like struggling basically to get the cash together to get some stuff. The Freddy Ford or Freddy's Forge will have some free things that you can download. And the sculpts are pretty close to official sculpts, as you can see, but the option is there for people who might want any of these miniatures. You can scoot off and get some free versions here. And because they're so close, I honestly wouldn't be featuring these. They're so close to the originals if they were not free and had not been out for quite some time now, from what I can recall. So yeah, it might be worth a shot, might be worth looking at. All right, Vargas miniatures. Vargas does terrain, obviously, but Vargas is here for this very specifically. I think it's the best large cross miniature that you can get. I think it's the best one that anybody has done yet. And I really like this model. And I think it looks great. And definitely worth picking up. It's only like $2.50. Come on, folks. Alrighty. So this is Bezos. And Bezos has a fun blood marker dice that you can print out. I really like it. It's 1 through 5 and then a splatter for 6. I think it looks great. And it's a fun way to keep track of your blood markers. Now, Warehammer. We're kind of getting into memery here. Warehammer has a fun, free Shrine Anchorite, but the reason Warehammer is here is because Warehammer has Gorefield, the Sin Eater proxy. So if you're a fan of large orange cats and you're not a fan of Mondays, Warehammer has you covered. And then the last one I'm going to mention is Admiral Apocalypse. And Admiral Apocalypse does bases. We've talked about my love of bases. Sandbags, absolutely love sandbags. Fake trees. This is really interesting and I really like it. It's, you could have a tree that's really a firing spot and you can work out, if somebody has line of sight through and can't be hit, give them a cover bonus or give the tree a armor value or whatever to have it destroyed. I don't give a shit. It's your game. Do whatever you want to do. But yeah, really like that. And first time I've seen that kind of thing. And then just some crates. Just some military crates. So yeah, thanks My Mini Factory for being so painfully slow, by the way. Jesus. You've literally got a monopoly going here and you're slow. So yeah, that's it. They're the people that I just want to kind of highlight as having caught my eye and are very interesting to me. Now, as I said, there's plenty of other stuff out there. I'm not talking about the stuff that do like entire ranges for other games that you can use, right? Like Beastarium and things like that. Everybody knows about that shit. These are things that have caught my eye that I found interesting, that I thought other people might want to know the existence of. And every now and then I will do a top-up video, basically where I find new people and put them in or re-highlight old people who have done interesting projects since. Now, when it comes to 3D printing, I know not everybody has access to a 3D printer. Very much aware of that. I will be doing a video of plastic kits that you can buy that I think would be good for kit bashing and alternative builds and things of that nature. I just don't know when I'm going to get around to actually doing that video. So yeah, that's it for this one, folks. Hope you enjoyed watching. Have a great weekend and all the best.